matrix. Right. In fact, Jacobian has a formula instead of a definition particularly. See, Jacobian is the determinant of the matrix of partial derivatives. Perhaps I remember all of you are aware of what is a matrix, then what is the determinant of a matrix, right? Now see, Jacobian is actually, it evaluates the determinant of what you call, partial derivatives, a matrix of partial derivatives. And in fact, that matrix contains all first order partial derivatives of functions, right? You will be given one or two different functions. There may be 2 or 3 functions also sometimes. That's why they may not be partial derivatives of a single function. There may be partial derivatives of different functions sometimes. But see, if you are given 2 different functions, you must have those 2 functions, they must be of functions of 2 variables. When you are given functions of 1 variable, they must be functions of 2 variables. Like see, you may be given functions of this kind. U and V, these 2 are the functions. When you are given only 2 functions, these 2 must be functions of only 2 variables. Right? In a case, if you are given 3 functions, let us say U, V, and W. When you are given 3 functions, these 3 must be functions of the same 3 variables. Right? Number of variables and number of functions must be equal always. In that case, you can evaluate determinant of a matrix of partial derivatives of these functions. Then that derivative we call it as Jacobian, right? Normally, as you know, dou u by dou x, for example, this represents rate of change in u when there is a change in x. But now see, while evaluating the Jacobian, you are going to take all partial derivatives of all the 3 variables, right? So that is mainly used actually in the case of transformation theory. For example, when you are given a function in Cartesian coordinate system, if you want to convert this function of Cartesian coordinate system into what you call polar coordinates, right? See, normally, when we integrate a function, what we do when you have this f of x dx, correct? Now see, if you want to convert this into polar coordinates, you use some transformation, something like x is equal to r cos theta or x is equal to r sin theta. When we use this, you see, this dx is to be shifted to d theta, isn't it? In a similar way, when you are given a function of 2 variables, there will be equivalent double integral. You see, you may have a double integral something like this. Double integral of function of 2 variables into dx dy. When it is a function of 2 variables, you see, you will see these 2, dx and dy. Now see, if you want to convert this into a polar coordinate system, if you want to convert this function in Cartesian coordinate system to a function in polar coordinates, then see, these 2 integrals are with respect to x and y now. Now, when you convert that into polar coordinates or spherical coordinates or cylindrical coordinates, there will be some other variables in that. For example, if it is in polar coordinates, you need to convert them into r and theta. Correct? Now see, to convert this, we have some relation between these 2. R is equal to square root of x square plus y square, and theta is equal to tan inverse of y by x. These are the relations between xy and r and theta, isn't it? Now see, using these kind of relations, we can convert this into what you call r and theta. This function can be converted easily. But what about these differentials? When you have dx dy, you cannot directly replace dx dy by dr into d theta. There must be something else, right? See, this is actually called what you have Jacobian, right? So this cannot be directly converted to polar coordinate system, but this product has to be multiplied by something else, right? Whatever you are multiplying here, that we call exactly as Jacobian here, right? So we use this idea most effectively when we discuss what we call double integrals and triple integrals, right? But now we need to have some idea of this Jacobian, and moreover, you see, when you are given 2 different functions like this, to find out whether there is a relationship between these 2 or not, right? If you are given 2 functions like this, u and v, to find whether those 2 functions are related by some relation or not, we use the idea of Jacobian. Okay, so just to discuss all these things, we need to first define what is a Jacobian, and then we'll discuss about the other issues as well. Okay, let me just clear all these things. And then let me just define what is a Jacobian in the case of functions of 2 variables, and in the case of functions of 3 variables also. Right, now let me first begin with a function of 2 variables. Let us say you are given 2 functions, u of x comma y and v of x comma y. These two are 2 different functions of 2 variables you are given. Then you see, you will write it like this: Jacobian. See how I am writing the notation. We define Jacobian like this: dou uv by dou xy. Right? See, this is how I write it: dou uv by dou x dou y. In some other cases, they also write it like this: du dv by dx dy. Even this also represents Jacobian only. But the most popular notation is this. Right? Now see, this is equals to, you see, as I said, Jacobian is the determinant of a matrix of partial derivatives. See what partial derivatives I'm taking. The first function you are given is u. Try to write all the partial derivatives, all the first order partial derivatives of this function u. See what are those two? Dou u by dou x, because it is a function of only 2 variables. Dou u by dou x, then dou u by dou y. Then similarly for the second function v, if you write all the partial derivatives, dou v by dou x and dou v by dou y. Now see, this is a second order matrix. Of course, you are taking the second order determinant here. Now see, if you evaluate this determinant, whatever the determinant value you get here, this value is what you call this Jacobian, right? So this is, whether you call it as definition or formula, it's all up to you, but this is how we calculate the Jacobian, right? Jacobian is the matrix, determinant of the matrix of partial derivatives like this. Okay, that's a basic definition, but now let me just extend this idea to a function of 3 variables. Now see, if you are given, let us say, 3 functions, u of xyz, v of xyz, w of xyz, you are given 3 functions, and all the 3 functions are of 3 different variables, xyz. Now see, in this case, we write Jacobian. You see, you may use this notation: uvw divided by dou of xyz. Right? In the numerator, we are writing the functions, and in the denominator, we are writing the independent variables here. Now see, this is equals to, it is a 3 by 3 determinant now, because you have 3 functions and 3 different variables. We'll write like this: dou u by dou x, dou u by dou y, dou u by dou z. Next, in the second row, I'm just taking the second function: dou v by dou x, dou v by dou y, dou v by dou z. In a similar way, if you write the third one, it is dou w by dou x, dou w by dou y, and dou w by dou z. Right? See, like this, you can write a determinant, and if you evaluate this, whatever the determinant value you get here, that is what the Jacobian of these 3 functions. Right? So like this, we can simply use the idea of Jacobian, but we use this particularly when we discuss double integrals, right? You can understand that particularly when we discuss double integrals. Okay, so I'm just allowing you to unmute yourselves. If you have any question, you please unmute yourselves and ask me. Meanwhile, no issue. Okay, let me just go check into get into one more problem here so that the things will be easy to you. Let me just add one more point here, because we are also discussing about the functionality independence. Understand, you are evaluating the Jacobian of 2 functions here in this case. In this case, by chance, if you get the Jacobian of these 2 as 0, understand, you are evaluating the determinant, and by chance, if you get the determinant of this matrix as 0, I mean the Jacobian is 0. When the Jacobian is 0, remember, we say these 2 functions are dependent on each other. Right? When the Jacobian is 0, we say these 2 functions are dependent on each other. In a case, if the Jacobian is not equal to 0, maybe not equal to 0 in most of the cases, But when the Jacobian is not equal to 0, we say these two functions are independent of each other. Right? When the Jacobian is equal to 0, they are dependent on each other. I mean, when they are dependent, you can write one function in terms of the other function. There must be a functional relationship between those two functions. But when the Jacobian is not equals to 0, definitely those two are independent of each other. I mean, you cannot represent one function as the function of other one, right? So to check functional independence, again we use the idea of Jacobian. See how it is? When the Jacobian is equal to 0, they are functionally dependent. They are functionally dependent. When the Jacobian is not equal to 0, they are functionally independent. Okay, that's the simplest idea you need to remember. The definitions regarding that are already available in the notes which I have shared to you. Right, now let's take this question. See, look at this. You are now given two different functions. See, one function is u and the other function is theta. The function u and theta, functions u and theta both are given in terms of x and y here clearly. And see the notation here. You are asked to find the Jacobian of u and theta with respect to x and y. Right? And hence you are also asked to prove that those two are functionally dependent. Okay? I'll come to the second part of this little later, but let me first find out the Jacobian. Right? I'm just writing the functions what you are given here. You are given u is equals to x plus y divided by 1 minus xy, and theta is equals to, please try to help me because I'm very poor in simplifications. Yeah. Now see the Jacobian, I'm just writing the definition first. The Jacobian of u theta with respect to x and y. See, how can we write this? Anybody? It's a function of these two are functions of two different variables. See, it is the determinant of these partial derivatives, dou u by dou x, dou u by dou y. Then dou theta by dou x and dou theta by dou y. Right? So if you just evaluate this determinant, that gives you the Jacobian of these two functions. Remember one thing, I hope you remember in the case of determinants, even if you exchange these rows and columns, the value of determinant remains the same, isn't it? So in that case, some of the textbooks, they write like this also. They write all the functions of all the partial derivatives of u in one column and all the, derivatives of other variable in, other column. Right? So this doesn't make, because you are simply evaluating the determinant. Whether you write in a row or in a column, the value remains the same. Okay, so don't get confused with this notation. You can take it in either ways. You can take all partial derivatives of u in one row or in one column, right? Either of the ways you can just evaluate the determinant. Now see, to proceed further, let me just evaluate all these partial derivatives. Let me first differentiate u with respect to x. Anybody help me? How much is the derivative of u with respect to x? Here you go. Did I allow you? Yeah. Please continue. No one?
U by v we can use now.
Yes, that's what I need actually. Please help me.
1 minus xy
Okay.
into 1 plus 0
Okay.
minus x plus y
Okay.
into minus 1.
Check it again. Only one?
Minus y.
Yes, sir, minus y.
Right, because xy is there, no? Y is a constant,
Yes, sir.
which will be remained here, right? Then in the denominator, we write it like
1
this.
minus xy whole square.
Good. Shall we try to simplify this? because we need to substitute that again in the determinant, right? So we should not keep this so much lengthy. The denominator looks quite okay. I am not going to disturb that, but the numerator is 1 minus xy, then minus into this minus plus it is plus xy plus y square. So this can be cancelled here, and in the denominator this is okay. So therefore, dou u by dou x is equals to, you can write it like this simply, 1 plus y square divided by 1 minus xy whole square. That's good. Then dou u by dou y, anybody? ఇట్లాంటప్పుడే నాకు ఏమనిపిస్తుందంటే ఐ షుడ్ గివ్ యూ సమ్ ఆఫర్స్ అని. ఎవరైతే ఆన్సర్ చెప్తారో వాళ్ళకు 2 మార్కులు ఎక్స్ట్రా ఇస్తానని చెప్పాను అనుకోండి, then I get many responses probably. Okay, dou u by dou y. See, I'm just differentiating this with respect to y. So the same way, 1 minus xy into, if you differentiate the numerator, it is 1 minus, if I keep this x plus y as it is, then the derivative of 1 minus xy with respect to y is minus x. In the same way, in the denominator, it is 1 minus xy whole square. This is equals to, I'm just simplifying this, 1 minus xy, and again see, minus into minus it is plus, so we get x square plus xy divided by 1 minus xy whole square. So therefore, dou u by dou y is equals to, this xy can be cancelled again, so we get 1 plus x square divided by 1 minus xy whole square. Right, so we got 2 partial derivatives. Then, sorry, this is theta. Now see, if you differentiate theta with respect to x and y, right? I'm just moving on to the next slide. Now see what you are given. Theta is equals to, you are given it as tan inverse x plus tan inverse y. I'm just trying to differentiate this with respect to theta. So it is dou theta by dou x is equals to, how much it is? Tan inverse of x, differentiation of tan inverse x is 1 by 1 plus x square. And then tan inverse y is a constant because you are differentiating with respect to x, so its derivative is simply 0. Then if you differentiate theta with respect to y, anybody?
1 by 1 plus y square.
Good.
0.
It's okay.
Yes, sir.
That can be understood, we are not still children, we cannot write 0 plus and so on every time, right? Because when we discuss derivatives for the first time, we used to write zeros and all every time, but we are all grown up now, no need to write it every time. Now see, we got everything, all the partial derivatives. I'm just writing everything in this determinant. Therefore, see, I'm writing it this way, dou of u comma theta divided by dou of x comma y, Jacobian of u theta divided by Jacobian of u comma theta with respect to x and y. It is equals to the determinant. See how much we got these two values, dou u by dou x and dou u by dou y. Dou u by dou x, 1 plus y square by 1 minus xy whole square. Then see what next, dou u by dou y, we got it as 1 plus x square. I'm writing here, you see. See in the next row, dou theta by dou x. See how much you got this, dou theta by dou x.
1 by 1 plus x square.
1 by 1 plus x square, and then the next one, it is 1 by 1 plus y square. Now this is equals to, see, we need to just evaluate this determinant now, nothing else. While evaluating the determinant, you see, we take cross multiplication like this, isn't it? This into this. So we get it like this, 1 plus y square divided by 1 minus xy whole square multiplied by 1 divided by 1 plus y square minus, now we take it in the other way, right? Product of these two. So it is now 1 plus x square divided by 1 minus xy whole square into 1 by 1 plus x square. Right? See how much it is. Then it is equals to
Zeros.
yeah 1
Zero.
plus yeah. So we get it simply like this: 1 by 1 minus xy whole square minus here also the same thing, because 1 plus y square can be cancelled, and even 1 plus x square can be cancelled here also. So only the same same term remains here in both the terms. So it is equals to 0. Right? See, as we discussed already, when the Jacobian is equals to 0, these two are functionally dependent. Therefore, you can say u and theta are functionally dependent. Right? When they are functionally dependent, there must be some relationship between u and theta. I mean, either u can be expressed in terms of theta, or theta can be expressed in terms of u, or either ways. Right? U and theta together may be a function. Can we find that function relationship between these two? Right? I'm just writing these two for your convenience. Given u is equals to x plus y by 1 minus xy. And theta is equals to tan inverse x plus tan inverse y by nothing, only this. Yeah, can anybody find the relationship between these two? Just by looking at that, there is no specific procedure to find out the relationship between those two, but you need to just think of it. Any idea, anybody?
Sir, we can assume x or y as tan theta or something like in terms of tan, because it can form a formula of tan, x plus y formula.
Can you tell me the formula for us?
Sir, for tan x plus y, it is that tan x plus tan y upon 1 minus tan x tan y.
Okay, okay, then shall I take it like this? X is equal to something like tan A and y is equal to something like tan B. Will it be okay?
Yes.
Okay, then let us see if that is the case. We can write u is equals to tan A plus tan B divided by 1 minus tan A tan B. How can we write this one? What is the formula for this actually?
Sir, tan a plus b.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now see, we got u as tan of A plus B. And then what about this theta then?
Theta would be a plus b.
Huh. So it is only A plus B, because already we assumed x is equal to tan A and what it is? X is equal to tan A and y is equal to tan B. So tan inverse of tan A is simply x.
X.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, tan inverse of x is only A. So it is theta will be only A plus B. Then see now, since we
Then
got A plus B as theta, this
u
implies
is
we can
equal
write
to tan theta.
since yes, there you are. This is the relationship between u and theta. That's it. See how simple it is. Right? So like this, when the Jacobian is 0, we can say they are functionally dependent, and then we can also find the relationship between these two functions, u and theta.
Sir, can you
Right?
show previous slide once?
You want me share this PPT to you later? In fact, I'm uploading all the PPTs in Canvas. You can also find them there.
Got it, sir. Got it.
Yes. Okay, so like this, you can just find out the Jacobian and then the functional relationship between two functions. Right? If anybody still have any more questions, you're welcome. Somebody have a question or something in the chat box. Okay. Right now, let's move on to the next question. Right, look at this. Now see, you are given three functions, u, v, and w, and all the three functions are functions of three different variables, x, y, and z. So hence you can find out this relation, dou of u, v, w with respect to x, y, and z. right? So let's just continue with this. Now see, I'm just writing all the three functions, but let me proceed with one by one after the other. See, this is you are given x square minus 2y. Now, corresponding to this, I'm just calculating all the first order partial derivatives. See how much it is, dou u by dou x. Now, see, dou u by dou x is only 2x. Then, if you differentiate it again, dou u by dou y. See how much it is, minus 2. And see, if you differentiate u with respect to z, since this function is independent of z, all this is a constant. So when you differentiate it with respect to z, you will get it as simply
0.
Good. Next, see, I'm just taking this function v. V, how much it is? X plus y plus z. Right? Then, if I differentiate v with respect to x, it is simply 1. Then, if I differentiate v with respect to y, see, it is again 1. And see how much it is, v with respect to z, it is also 1, correct? Then I'm just taking the other function w, it is x minus 2y plus 3z. Now see, if you differentiate this with respect to x, dou w by dou x is 1, then dou w by dou y, it is minus 2, and dou w by dou z.
3.
Good. Now see, we got all the required partial derivatives. Let me write the formula and then substitute everything into this. Now, so therefore, Jacobian of u, v, w with respect to x, y, z. And it is equals to, I'm just writing the formula here. It is dou u by dou x, dou u by dou y, dou u by dou z. In a similar way, the second row with the second function, dou v by dou x, dou v by dou y, dou v by dou z. Then dou w by dou x, dou w by dou y, dou w by dou z. Right, so then it is equals to, let us just substitute everything into this. See how much you got, dou u by dou x.
2x.
Yeah, I'm just substituting here. 2x, then
Minus
dou
2.
u by dou y minus 2, and then this is
0.
Good. Then dou v by dou x,
1.
we got it as, yeah, all the three are
1.
ones.
1.
Good. Then 1,
Minus 2.
minus 2,
Minus 2.
and
3.
3. Yeah.
3.
Okay, so because there is a 0 in the first row, let me evaluate this statement about the first row. All right. Please help me. I'm just taking the determinant about the first row. So it is 2x times. While taking this, we just leave this
3
first
plus
row and
2.
first column.
3 plus
correct?
2.
3
Yeah, we
plus
take-
2, sir.
Yeah, I got it. So it is 3 plus 2. Then minus. We normally take minus for the second term. But here is also a minus 2. So it is minus of minus 2 into. Now we leave this second
3
row,
minus
second
1.
column. So it is 1 into
3 minus
3.
1.
Yeah, great. So it is then 3 minus 1. Then plus the next term is anyway 0. 0 into something, right? So it is simply 0. Now see how much you get here. This is equals to
6x plus 4x plus 6.
10x.
3 plus 2, 5, right? There are no
10x
more
plus
x
4.
terms, right? So 5 into 2, it is 10x minus,
Plus 4.
not minus,
Plus
it is
4.
plus. Good. 2 times 2, it is 4. So you see, this is the Jacobian, remember. We got Jacobian in terms of x. That is still Jacobian only. Okay. If you want to calculate Jacobian at a particular point, then again, you will get it as a number. But normally, as I said, we use Jacobian in what we call in transformation theory, right? So when you have, for example, you see, when we are integrating this function of 3 variables, by chance, if you are integrating function of u, v, w, just understand it this way, because you are given a function of 3 different variables, u, v, w, and u, v, w are again in terms of x, y, and z. So that you can just assume function f is a function of 3 different variables, x, y, and z. So you can integrate it with respect to x, y, and z. And hence, since it is a function of 3 variables, and since you are integrating it for 3 times, triple integral, we get normally dx, dy, dz. Correct? Now, see, if you want to convert this into something else, polar coordinates, if you want to convert that into not polar coordinates, since it's a 3-dimensional system, you can convert that into, let us say, what we call spherical coordinate system. Right? Now, see, if you want to convert this into polar coordinate systems, by chance, if you are integrating this with respect to UVW, du, dv, dw is here. I'm sorry, this is UVW, integration with respect to UVW. And hence here also we will get dw, du, dv and dw. Now, if you want to convert this into xyz, by chance, let us assume this, I can show you this easily. If you want to convert this into xyz, right, then this du, dv, dw, the other things we can convert them into xyz using these relations. In place of u, in place of v, in place of w, you can substitute them so that this becomes a function of 3 variables xyz. But now we cannot simply replace du, dv, dw by dx, dy, dz. But what we do, you see, using this idea of Jacobian, du, dv, dw, product of these 3 can be written as Jacobian of these 3. See how much we got? It is 10x plus 4 times dx, dx, dy, dz. So this is how we write actually. I'm just writing it like this here, you see. Whatever the Jacobian formula you have used, we can also write it like this. Du, dv, dw divided by dx, dy, dz. And see, when you evaluate the what you call this Jacobian, we got it as 10x plus 4. So that this numerator can be written as this Jacobian times this denominator. The same you can see while evaluating the triple integrals of this function. We can use the idea of what you call Jacobian, right? See, where is transformation here? We use this Jacobian particularly if you want to convert UVW into XYZ, right? UVW into something else, right? When you transform one function of one variable into function of other variable, we need what you call this Jacobian. But you cannot really enjoy this Jacobian idea when you discuss integration or function of one variable. When you have functions of more variables, then we use Jacobian widely. Okay, so we discuss that anyway later again, probably in the next semester. So this is a simple idea. Now, since we got Jacobian as something else here, can we say these 3 are functionally dependent here? Are these functionally dependent or independent?
Independent.
Independent, sir.
Yeah. So since the Jacobian we got it as not equals to 0, we can say these 3 functions are functionally independent, right? So that's one point you need to remember. And if anybody have any more questions in this, you can just ask me now. We'll just take a few more questions. So here is one important question. So will you try this question? This question was asked several times even in the examination. Yeah, look at this. If x is equals to r cos theta, y is equal to r sin theta, then see, we need to find out dou xy by dou r theta and dou r theta by dou x dou y, dou xy. And also the product is 1. Right? We'll see the second part little later, but look at the first one. Look at this carefully. I just need to add a point here. You are given x in terms of r and theta, and of course y also in terms of r and theta. When you are given it like this, x and y, these 2 are dependent variables and r and theta are independent variables, so that you can easily evaluate the Jacobian of x and y with respect to r and theta. But how to evaluate the other one, dou r theta by dou x dou y, right? We need to see that, right? In fact, to evaluate this Jacobian of r and theta with respect to x and y, remember, always we have dependent variables in the numerator and independent variables in the denominator. So if you want to evaluate this Jacobian, you must have r and theta as what you call dependent variables. So to get that, from these relations, again, you should represent r and theta in terms of x and y. Right? You should rewrite those relations so that r and theta both must be in terms of x and y. Then you can evaluate what you call this Jacobian. Okay, so we'll see that, but let me first proceed for the first Jacobian here. So you are given these two relations. X is equals to r cos theta, y is equals to r sin theta. Right, so to evaluate this, I'm just writing the formula once. Jacobian of xy with respect to r and theta. So we should have this determinant. What is dou x by dou r, dou x by dou theta, then dou y by dou r, and dou y by dou theta. Right, now see, to calculate all this, we need to evaluate all these derivatives. Dou x by dou r, anybody? X is equal to r cos theta you are given. So what is dou x by dou r?
Cos theta.
So it is only cos theta. Then if you write the other one, dou x by dou theta. How much? Dou x by dou theta.
R sin theta.
Differentiation of cos theta is minus sin theta,
Minus.
right? So we get minus r sin theta. Then if you write dou y by dou r, see how much it is. If you differentiate y with respect to r, it is only sin theta.
Sin theta.
Good. Then if you differentiate y with respect to theta,
R cos theta.
good.
R cos.
Then see if I evaluate now this Jacobian of xy with respect to r and theta. See how much it is. I'm just substituting everything into the formula. Is mute yourselves. Then I'm just substituting everything into this cos theta. And dou x by dou theta, we got it as minus r sin theta. Then dou y by dou r, it is sin theta.
Sin theta.
And here it is r cos
R
theta.
cos theta.
Right, see, if you just simplify this determinant, it is again a kind of cross multiplication, right? So we get it as r cos square
R
theta,
square theta.
actually minus, but when you take product of these two, we get one more minus r sin theta, r sin square theta. So this is equals to r times, you can take r common from these two. So then we get it as cos square theta. Then you see minus of minus, it is plus sin square theta. I hope you remember cos square theta plus sin square theta is equals to 1. So we get this as simply r. So Jacobian of xy with respect to r theta, we got it as r. Okay. Now see, we got the first one here. Then to evaluate the Jacobian of r theta with respect to x and y, we cannot take these functions as they are. Now we need to represent r and theta in terms of x and y. Now see, here you are given x and y in terms of r theta. But to evaluate this Jacobian, remember we need to represent r theta in terms of xy. Right? So I'm just taking them again. You are given x is equals to r cos theta. You must remember this relation always, because we use this relation quite frequently. Y is equals to r sin theta. Any idea? Anybody? Just now we are seeing here.
R equals to x secant theta.
No. We want r in terms of xy, not in terms of theta again, because we are evaluating the Jacobian of r theta. So we want r theta independently. We want r in terms of xy and then theta also in terms of xy. See here, just now you have seen this. When you have r into cos square theta plus sin square theta, right? You can just add these two as one. So I'm just evaluating this. X square plus y square is equals to, see how much you get, r square cos square theta plus r square sin square theta. Now you can take r square common from these two, you see. When you take r square common, you get it as sin square theta plus cos square theta, which is simply 1. So this comes out as simply r square. So therefore, you can write r is equals to square root of x square plus y square. So this is how you can represent r in terms of x and y. Then similarly, if you just take y by x, see how much you get y by x? R sin theta divided by r cos theta.
R cos.
So you can just cancel this r, and sin theta by cos theta. How much
Tan.
it is? Tan theta. So tan theta is equals to y by x. So this implies you can write theta is equals to tan inverse of y by x. So like this, you can write r and theta both in terms of y and x and y. Now see, both we got r and theta in terms of x and y. Now from these two, we need to evaluate the next Jacobian. Okay, I'm just continuing this in the next slide. So now we have these relations. R is equals to square root of x square plus y square, and theta is equals to
Tan
Tan
inverse of
plus
x
y by
by
x.
y.
y by x, correct. Now see, from these two, if you differentiate r with respect to x, see how much you get? R with respect to x. It's like root x. When you differentiate root x, as we know, it is 1 by 2 root x. So 2 times root of x square plus y square. Then we need to differentiate this x square plus y square again with respect to x. So it is, I'm just writing here, it is 2x. X square differentiation is 2x. Y square differentiation is 0 because we are differentiating with respect to x. Okay, that's it. Then if you differentiate the same r with respect to y, see how much you get. First of all, you get 1 by 2 times square root of x square plus y square. And if you differentiate this x square plus y square again with respect to y, we get it as 2y. Nice. Right? Now, if you differentiate theta with respect to x. Now see, this is theta, as you know, tan inverse of y by x. When you differentiate that with respect to x, we get first like this, 1 by, it's like tan inverse x, 1 by 1 plus
1 plus y by x whole.
Right, so y square by x square, and then see, y by x is there actually. When you differentiate y by x with respect to x, what you get here, you see, I'm just writing it here. You have y by x, you are differentiating this with respect to x. So y is a constant, no, I'm just writing it as it is here, y. Then the remaining is 1 by x. When you differentiate 1 by x, we get it like this, minus 1 by x square.
X square.
Correct. Right, so this is how you get it. And then if you try to simplify this, see, I'm just taking LCM in the denominator. So what you get here, you see, x square plus y square by x square you get actually, but I'm taking that to the numerator. So I can write it like this, x square by x square plus y square. And then you see, I'm just writing this as it is, minus y by x square. So this x square can be cancelled, So and then see, how can we write this? Therefore, dou theta by dou x is equals to minus y divided by x square plus y square. Let's keep that aside. Then what remains, you see? Dou theta by dou y is equals to, see how much it is? The same way, right? 1 by 1 plus y square by x square. Then see, now it is y by x. Again, now you are differentiating this with respect to y. Right, see, when you differentiate this with respect to y, 1 by x is a constant, right? So I can write that 1 by x as it is. And the remaining is only y. When you differentiate y, it is simply 1. So I'm not writing anything else. Now see if you can simplify this. See how much it is. This is equals to, again you can take LCM in the denominator. So it is x square plus y square, and the remaining x square I'm writing in the numerator. Right, so this multiplied by 1 by x. So therefore, dou theta by dou y is equals to, you can cancel 1x, you know. So we get this as x by x square plus y square. Right, now let me just substitute everything into the formula. So therefore, Jacobian of r and theta with respect to x and y is equals to, as we know the formula is this, dou r by dou x, then dou r by dou y, and then it is dou theta by dou x, then it is dou theta by dou y. Now see, this is equals to, I'm just substituting everything into this determinant. Dou r by dou x, we got it like this. You can cancel even these two here, right? So I'm writing only x by square root of x square plus y square. Then dou r by dou y, it is y divided by square root of x square plus y square. And dou theta by dou x, we got it as minus y divided by x square plus y square. And this is x divided by x square plus y square. But I'm just taking the determinant of this matrix. See how much it is. It's a kind of, again, you know, cross multiplication. So x into this x, we get it as x square divided by, see, root into this. I'm just writing it as it is. I don't want to multiply them because we can use some other substitution here little later. Right, then minus, actually minus, but when you multiply these two, we get one more minus, right? So anyway, when you add, when you multiply 2 minus and 0, you will get it as only plus. So it is y square divided by, the same thing you get here also, it is x square plus y square into square root of x square plus y square. This is equals to, see what you get here, any idea?
1 by root of x.
Yeah, see if you add these two, you get one x square plus y square in the numerator, because you see the denominator is same here. So when you add them, you get x square plus y square in the numerator, and already here is one x square plus y square in the denominator. And this multiplied by square root of x square plus y square. So these two can be cancelled out, and only this remains 1 by under root x square plus y square. But what is this root of x square plus y square? You see, it is r. So therefore, we can write this is equals to simply 1 by r. Right? So I'm just writing it in the next slide. So therefore, dou of r theta by dou of xy is equals to 1 by r. And see, already you got something else. And dou of xy by dou of r theta. We got this as, you know, r. So therefore, if you multiply these two, you can easily observe this. I'm just multiplying these two. Dou of xy by dou of r theta multiplied by dou of r theta divided by dou of xy. So it is equals to r into 1 by r, which is equals to 1. Henceforth. Right, so like this, you can just prove this particular statement.